Have you ever been a victim of fake news? Next, my group will talk about this topic.
Fake news is a type of hoax or deliberate spread of misinformation with the intent to mislead in order to gain financially or politically. Fake news is related to propaganda which purports to spread information, especially based or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize of particular political cause or point of view. In the most general form, fake news has three characteristics: factually inaccurate, optimized for sharing, made to obscure or distort which emotion, preying on prejudice or bias. Fake news is easy to fall for. A growing decline in trust of the media and government, people can now create content unburdened by the layers of editing and fact-checking that the new organization adhere to. Content is aggregated to single new feed, mixing updates for friends and family with identical looking links to stories across the web. Lower attention spans. Fake news stories appeals to our emotion and proliferation of internet bots.
To answer this question, we decided to create a survey. The survey was applied to WhatsApp users because our investigation is focused on WhatsApp, so our population is WhatsApp users. The survey contains the questions below. First one, how old are you? This question is important because we can describe if people tend to share fake news based on their age. So younger people may share more fake news than older people. Second one, what do you do? This follows the same logic as the first question. So instead of um, focused on their age, this question is focused on their occupation. So we can describe if people um, tend to share fake news based on their occupation. What have you heard about fake news? Have you ever been a fake news victim? Have you ever shared a fake news? How can you identify fake news? How often do you receive fake news? Um, since our investigation is focused on WhatsApp, that's chains on WhatsApp also are are also fake news. So we want to know the frequency of receiving fake news. Once a day, more than once a day, once a week, more than once a week, or never. And the final question: how do you feel when you receive fake news? So that was our survey. Thank you.
This is a survey result. We sent the survey to all people. The survey was answered by all age, that is from 15 to 60 years old. People between 17 to 20 years old were the ones who respond the most to this survey. What have you heard about fake news? This is a this is a answer that people responded. They promote misinformation, collective fear, and even create erroneous ideologies or trends. The other answer is they are harmful as they misinform people. Well, these are some concepts that people answer. Most of them answered concepts about fake news, and Neonar affirmed that they had heard about them. How can you identify a fake news? This is another question. In this question, there were similar answers. Technically, the majority answered that they investigate on the internet if the news is true or false. And the other answer is that was the reviewed or verified the source of the news. The last question is how do you feel when you receive fake news? In this question, we were able to identify to the answer of almost all were negative. That is, they feel bad when receiving false news. They feel shaded, disappointed, confused, angry, irritated. Those were the answers that most identified the responses. This is a result. The other questions. The first question is: have you ever been a fake news victim? The majority of people respond yes. The percent is 65.2%, and the other questions respond no. The percent is 34.8%. The people more victim of fake news. The other question is: have you ever shared fake news? The people response or the majority of people not share fake news. The result is 63.6%. Well, the other question is how often do you receive a fake news? People never receive a fake news. The percent is 37.9%. The 25.8% receive a fake news once a week. The 21.2% receive a fake news more than once a week. And finally, 10.6% receive a fake news more than once a day.
We consider it important to publish the results of the research through a digital product in the form of a video, since it's more interactive method. For this reason, we choose the button play for since it's an easy to use program without voice but with the help of interactive tools to favor the visualizations of the different concepts that will be carried out. Initially, we get the most important ideas about how we can detect fake news. Likewise, what we want with this tool is to give visualization through YouTube to help you spread the information. A second research instrument apart from the survey, we have an interview. With the respective interview, we want to make now the clear concept of what fake news means and how we can avoid easily falling into one of them. For that, we consulted with a professional person who will tell us about its meaning and how some tips could be useful to avoid spreading fake news.
Hello, my name is Aiskel Figueroa. We will present an interview with a professional in social communications and journalism. We will tell you about what is fake news, how can we detect fake news, and what would you recommend to people so as not to fall into them so easily.
Bueno, mi nombre es Angie Ruiz Díaz, soy comunicadora social periodista de la Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana sección Bucaramanga y vengo a hablarles un poco sobre qué son las fake news. Las fake news son noticias falsas o noticias con información de dudosa procedencia. Es decir, puede ser que la noticia inicialmente no sea falsa, pero en la misma se haya contemplado contenido que no tiene que ver con la situación. Me explico. Hubo un accidente en algún sector de la ciudad, pero la gente empieza a agregar información de más. Por ejemplo, ese es uno de los tantos ejemplos. Otro de los ejemplos puede ser noticias que realmente son completamente inventadas, rumores, información que genera conveniencia en el caso de política, economía, etc. ¿Cómo identificamos una fake news o cómo nos damos cuenta que esa noticia en cuestión es falsa? Nos damos cuenta que la noticia es falsa cuando la información no concuerda con bases de datos, cuando se compara con medios oficiales de comunicación y la noticia no concuerda. Entonces, ¿cómo podemos detectarlas? Revisando en los medios de comunicación nacionales o internacionales que tengan cierto tipo de reconocimiento. Entonces, si una noticia emitida por dicho medio puede ser falsa, ellos están en la obligación de verificar los datos con policías, bases de datos, entidades, etcétera, o con las personas directamente implicadas. En este caso, se puede identificar con las fuentes, con los directamente implicados, qué información es real y qué información no lo es. Así podemos dar veracidad a qué información se debe publicar y qué información definitivamente no. ¿Cómo podemos prevenirla o cómo podemos prevenir la difusión de las fake news? Nosotros mismos, revisando en periódicos, en páginas web de medios nacionales o en páginas web de medios de la noticia si es internacional.
Conclusions. We can observe that the vast majority of the survey was carried out on students between an age range of 19 to 22 years. And the vast majority respond that fake news is created by elite group to generate for insighted and generate trends, and 34% have fallen for fake news. If we analyze it, it is a last percentage. When asking if they have shared false news, the percentage is the same. In order to identify fake news, we can validate the sources from which it comes. Not share if you are not sure on the information and not creating panic. People receive at least on one fake news story once a week, and this is important since many people can believe this and create controversy. A clear example of fake news is when they share information about vaccines and society did not want to be vaccinated against COVID-19. And finally, With our analysis, we can show the lack of information that is lacking in our society.